Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really exciting update for all you Java developers out there using the wffweb framework. We're going to dive right into the brand new 12.0.13 release. Now, if you're already building with wffweb, you know it's an absolute backend powerhouse. But this specific update, it brings some serious under-the-hood engine upgrades and some brilliant quality of life improvements that are going to instantly clean up your codebase. So let me hook you with a quick question to start things off. What if parsing JSON in your wffweb projects could be noticeably faster and, at the exact same time, way cleaner to write? Sounds like a win-win, right? Well, let's break down exactly how the wffweb framework team actually achieved this in the 12.0.13 release on their GitHub repository. All right, Section 1. Faster JSON parsing performance, the engine upgrade. What's really interesting here is the exact phrasing straight from the developer's release notes. It explicitly states, quote, major optimization, code optimization in JSON parser for performance gain. You know, the maintainers didn't just label this a routine bug fix or a minor patch. They specifically categorized it as a major optimization. If your app relies heavily on parsing JSON streams or juggling huge data payloads, well, the JSON parser class is doing a massive amount of the heavy lifting. By optimizing the code right there in the parser, version 12.0.13 is delivering raw application speed directly to your projects. It's a super deliberate focus on pure performance. But you know, raw speed is really only half the story of this release. The other half is how you actually interact with the data structure. So, Section 2, defining the core nodes. As you likely already know, when manipulating JSON data in this framework, you're primarily dealing with two foundational classes. First, you've got JSON map node, which represents your JSON objects, your standard key value pairs or maps. And second, JSON list node represents your JSON arrays, or lists of items. The crucial thing to remember is that these two classes are your absolute daily drivers when handling JSON. And the great news is, in version 12.0.13, these exact core classes got some fantastic new methods specifically designed to boost your productivity. Which brings us to Section 3, new enum methods, or what I like to call developer quality of life. So both the JSON map node and JSON list node have received a new getValueAsEnum method along with a size-aware convert-to method. But I really want you to notice the specific additions for writing data, putEnum and addEnum. Let's think about a quick code snippet in practice to see why this is a real game changer. Previously, dealing with Java enums often meant writing annoying boilerplate code. You might have to write map.put/status/myenum.name, right? Manually converting your enum to a string before putting it into the JSON object. Now, you just write map.putEnum status myenum directly on your map, or list.addEnum myenum straight onto your list. It's a dedicated shortcut that literally eliminates that unnecessary boilerplate, makes your code incredibly clean to read, and for sure speeds up your development time. Moving right along to Section 4, Enhanced wffbm implementations. For those of you utilizing wffbm data conversions, this release brings two very specific implementations to the table. We now have two wffbm object available on the JSON map node and two wffbm array on the JSON list node. Notice that parameter in the parentheses there, Boolean parse JSON value? This is such a useful design choice. It gives you, the developer, total, precise control over the conversion process. By just passing a simple true or false flag, you decide whether the system should actively parse the JSON value during the conversion. It's all about giving you the exact, fine-tuned tools you need to optimize your specific app's logic. Okay, so we've got parsing speed, cleaner enum code, and better conversion control. But what about stability? Let's hit Section 5, stricter builder validations for safety and stability. In the other improvements section of the GitHub release notes, there's a really vital technical update to the JSON parser builder. The build method in version 12.0.13 is now explicitly modified to check for needful illegal arguments. In the past, you might have built a parser with invalid configurations and only found out way later when something randomly crashed during runtime. We've all been there, and it's super frustrating. Well, now the builder validates your arguments immediately. If something is illegal or set up wrong, it catches the error right there during the build phase. This prevents those downstream errors entirely, making your dev process much safer and your final application way more stable. So let's tie all of this together. Upgrading your framework to wffweb-12.0.13 is essentially a no-brainer. You're getting raw performance speeds straight from the heavily optimized JSON parser. You're getting strict builder checks acting as an early safety net against bad configs. And honestly, perhaps most noticeably for your day-to-day work, you're getting drastically cleaner code handling thanks to those highly efficient new enum methods. Which leaves us with one final provocative thought to ponder for today. How will these new JSON parser optimizations and enum methods streamline your very next WFWeb project? Think about the clunky boilerplate you could literally just delete right now, and the raw parsing speed you could gain simply by updating your framework version. I highly encourage you to go dive in your current codebases and see exactly where 12.0.13 can make an immediate, tangible impact. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning and happy coding.